What if no one watches the review? Why doesn't anyone like me? I'm so scared right now.
What is this life? What do I do? What is the reason for anything?
Isn't one of you guys supposed to be named Joy or something?
Joy's been gone for years.
Brain freeze! Hang on! Riley, here we come!
Can Pixar just be relieved of Brave and Cars 2 now, you guys? Like, please? We can just stop mentioning Cars 2 just for a second? Thank you. Do you guys remember Osmosis Jones? Basically, that's kind of the idea of this movie, where we have a lot of little people controlling a big person, and instead of, you know, a lot of cells and stuff like that, we have basically a control room for a person's mind. I don't know why I started the review off with Osmosis Jones. I don't even really remember it, but just know that if that's, I know some people will complain like, oh, it's a rip-off of that. I don't really remember it, so it's kind of a new experience for me. And even though this is a kids movie, this movie is primarily based around psychology, and I love psychology. Basically, any story that's like a character study, or even just reviews, are just opinions and kind of a psychological opinion. So I'm super into psychology, and so the idea of this movie is right up my alley. And for a large part of this movie, it's just showing how this control room inside of a person's head works. Every little detail is put into this idea. And even though there's a growing plot and there's a big quest going on, and you know, it's very important that they get this quest done, I honestly could have just watched this control room function for an entire movie without any sort of conflict thrown in there. And in this movie, these little emotions inside of the control room, they basically are so relatable. The way they flip from one emotion to the next, from happiness to sadness to anger, it's so relatable because we know we do this every day and we see other people do this every day. I want to see the inside of the dude from Silver Linings Playbook because his anger he must sit on a throne in there. And going back to that part where they're on a quest, although it was my least favorite part of the movie, it was done well, it was super creative, and I think kids will really enjoy it. But based off of like Studio Ghibli movies I've seen, where it has this very childlike spirit, those movies don't really have that much of a conflict, and I honestly think this movie didn't really need a conflict. It had the idea. The idea is more important than this conflict that we get repeated over and over again in movies. And this movie is Pixar level good. The animation is top notch. And although for me, like some Pixar styles for their movies like Brave and WALL-E, I really like those styles. But this movie had its own kind of glowing personality and style to it, and I enjoyed it. I just didn't like it as much as some other Pixar movies. And it's as good as those movies. I think it could have been better though. The movie, it starts off in this little montage where the character is growing up, right? And I didn't know much about this movie going in, so I really thought that this kid was gonna turn into like an adult, or at the very least a teenager, and I honestly would have loved a more relatable teenager or adult. I think that would make a wonderful sequel. But we get stuck with a kid, and it's a very kind of simplified control room because, you know, it is a kid. But it could have been better, I think, if it changed main characters. Even though she is a kid, I do think people will relate to her. I know I really did relate to her because, you know, everyone was a kid once, and everyone moves, or most people do, and most people used to live in Minnesota and now don't. Maybe I related to her more than most people. Oh my god, you guys, it's joy! This movie brought joy back into my life. Oh my god. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. I'm gonna leave now. But sadly, I sadly give Inside Out an 8 out of 10 and the sole badge of approval. With all that being said, guys, you can check out my Patreon, my Twitter, and all of that good stuff. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. And with that, I leave you.
I'm back, baby.
Oh, original, extraordinary Pixar films, I've missed you. Enjoy it now, Animaniacs, because the way things are going, there might never be another one again. Except for that other original Pixar film coming out in November. But after that, there might never be another one again. Why can't you ever support my hyperbole for comedic effect? Now, I'm a firm believer in the idea.
We ain't even cool no more. It's the strangest thing. Whatever happened to you and me? Don't know how to get a hold of you. I don't know how to get in touch. They say the diamonds are forever, and you a diamond in the rough, so I'm you know.